Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. Today we're fighting the good fight for the briefcase. And one of my good friends is Terry Lau. And Terry Lau is a guy I've been in contact with for a number of years, and he owns a green Diplomat Louis Vuitton briefcase. And I met Terry, I was in Hourglass in Sydney, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, are you Archie Luxury?" And it's pretty small world there. And he said, "Hi Archie, how scary. You identified me from my Tiger Diplomat. How many people in Australia own one of these fuckers? The only time I saw one used was in the Tokyo subway. A middle-aged salaryman was carrying it. I was totally surprised to see one out in the wild. I'd always wanted one after seeing the LV ad with the well-dressed guys in business suits in a boardroom, waiting for the case to be opened by a model who looked like Richard Gere. It gave the impression of a corporate takeover, high-stakes wheeling and dealing. From memory, that movie, The Thomas Crown Affair, with Pierce Brosnan, was just out, and his character at the beginning of the movie reminded me of that corporate takeover scene. He also wears a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso in the movie. It was a cool product placement without showing the name on the face of the watch. If you knew about watches, you knew it was Reverso. And the reason the name, just out of interest there, Terry, the reason the name was covered up was because Pierce Brosnan was contracted to only wear Omega. And that's why they had to cover up the name. But yep, every fucker who was worth his salt could work out it was a Reverso. I bought my Louis Vuitton Diplomat off my tailor. He made me some killer suits. One was a Ferrari suit with pinstripes that looked like tire treads. It was lined with red silk on the inside, and I had all the fancy trimmings of a bespoke suit. It was a masterpiece. At the time, I was working for a large private banking firm in Sydney's Double Bay in the posh eastern suburbs. Our criteria for private banking were clients that they had to have a minimum of $1 million portfolio. I was playing with big money, other people's money. I was only 26 at the time. I felt like Bud Fox from Wall Street. My boss was similar to Gordon Gekko. He'd go out for lunch with clients on a yacht or play golf and then get driven back to the office in the client's new Ferrari. I got the shit end of the stick, having to do all the work whilst he fucked around and enjoyed himself. It was during this time that I spent a lot of my salary on luxury goods. I was also buying investment wines. I guess it was an outlet to release my stress, having a belief that I needed to reward myself. I wanted to be like Bud Fox, but then I realized I only wanted his lifestyle, not his life. I grew up fast and got out as quick as possible. Now, he's attached a few interesting briefcases. There's a Papworth attaché case he bought in London. It was probably 1999. I'll have to check my receipts. I remember after I bought it, I had to fly to New York, then LA, before catching another flight back to Sydney. I carried it as hand luggage on 3 aeroplanes. I definitely didn't want the fuckers at baggage funneling department to scuff up my new bag. I bought it at Fortnum and Mason's. I actually wanted a Swain 80 Brig attaché case lined with red leather, the exact one issued to James Bond in From Russia with Love. That famous attaché case fitted out with 40 rounds of ammunition, a throwing knife, a tear gas booby trap, a folding rifle, and 50 gold sovereigns. But after I visited the Swain 80 Brig shop in Jeremy Street, I realized I couldn't afford it. So when I saw the Papworth attaché case, which was just every bit as good quality and also had the Queen seal, but at a more reasonable price, I had to buy it. From memory, it was about £400 at the time, which would have been about 1,200 Aussie dollars. And he's got a link to the website there, which I'll put in my description. And he's got an Alfred Dunhill. As for the Dunhill briefcase, that goes way back. It was the first serious bag I bought about a year or so after I started in the workforce. I purchased a Rolex Precision Oyster Date about the same time. The Rolex I sold to fund an overseas holiday. I should have kept the fucker. It was a sexy stainless steel beauty, but I never used the Dunhill bag. The leather work was so perfect I didn't want to ruin it. I've only ever taken it out of its box less than 10 times to look at it or clean it. I'd say it dates around 1996. I bought it when there was a Dunhill boutique in Sydney, just down the road from the Hourglass watch shop. About 4 weeks ago, I bought the bag. About 4 weeks after I bought the bag, the shop closed down. Yeah, I know, fucking Alfred Dunhill. It used to be such a trendy brand, and then they went for a bit of a fucking dry spell, I suppose. Since I was in high school, I remember, since when I was in high school, I remember those Dunhill commercials. I also took inspiration from reading Cigar Aficionado articles. Yes, I've read that article too. As you know and realise, the world has become more casual nowadays. I now just carry my cheap black nylon $80 Porter roll bag from Japan. It has a Velcro strap at the bottom and I can secure a beach towel. I also use it for work. Gone are the wild days of the high-flying Terry. My luxury bags are just a reminder of my former self. Although I still like to wear a tailored bespoke suit, but nothing too outrageous. Just classic English tailoring without the bells and whistles, like a time-only Patek Philippe, not the grand complication I used to be. As for gold, I have a small collection of gold coins from around the world, including a Napoleon gold coin, a Branzanite gold coin, Islamic gold coin from the Crusades, and a Spanish Escado pirate treasure. I prefer stainless steel or white precious metal in my watches. I think I'll stick to that. Unfortunately, yellow gold is out of fashion too, just like the hard case briefcases. Don't say that, Terry. That's not true. And he gave me $10. Terry gave me $10. Thank you so much. The $10 was for the free information from watching your reviews. I've done away with paying $20 for a fucking shit watch magazine that has TW Steel ads on every second page. Regards, Terry. So that was a great email from Terry, who I'd been in contact with a couple years ago because he had the green diplomat, just like I've got a green diplomat, and Terry took a few pictures of me in Hourglass. So I'm very fortunate to have a few pictures of me in Hourglass that Terry shot there. So that's absolutely fantastic. And I've got those pictures coming up. You can see them on the screen. So that's some pictures that Terry shot for me. That's fantastic. I was wearing my two Pateks on the day, the white gold 5107 and the yellow gold 5035. I don't know if I'd say the yellow gold is out of date. I mean, that's a bit harsh, Terry. I'm sorry, that's just a bit harsh there. But there we go. That's Terry's story. That's an interesting tale. That's what I can certainly say there. Very, very interesting. And he also sent me a few pictures of his Papworth lid-over body attaché case, and that's a really cool fucker. The style of the case that a secret agent would have used during the Cold War. This was the original style of case used by British officers on official government business, attaché. The word attaché was coined from this style of hard case. It is therefore the correct attaché case, lined with green Scythia leather, like British racing green. I don't think it's quite as nice as the tiger green, but that's the French. They know how to fucking make everything look nice. Stamped with the mark of appointment to Her Majesty the Queen. Does it get any better than this? Made in Cambridge, the home of cobblers, tanners and scholars. And it even came with its own polishing cream. Very, very cool. And he makes a point there. He says, this is fine English craftsmanship. French versus English. I'd have to put this above LV. Sorry, yes, you know what a fan of LV I am. Outstanding craftsmanship with heavy-duty stitching, no fucking poo in this case. And that's a reference to the Louis Vuitton interior poo, which I've made a video on. High-quality brass key locks that don't tarnish, and bridle hardware on the hand-stitched handle. A reminder that Papworth is in the business for making horse riding equipment for the Queen of England, unlike Gucci that uses bridle bits on their fucking phony fucking logo, which has no equestrian background relating to the brand. Yeah, I sense a bit of Archie Luxy cynicism in Terry's email there, and the famous lid over body is hand stitched all the way around, and there's a few pictures that he's included there, and It's really cool. So that's Terry, and he's helping with the fight for hard-sided, hard-cased briefcases. And don't let these feminist bitches fucking take over the world with the man bag. So I'm trying to encourage Terry to actually use his 3 stunners, the 3 amigos that he calls them. And I'm trying to encourage him to use them. They're cool fuckers. And Terry, come on, man, let's do it together. Let's start using our rectangular hard case suitcases now. Get some enjoyment out of them. When you're dead, you're dead. Your kids are just going to put them on the fucking flea bay. So come on, Terry, let's get these fuckers into use. Put them into active service. I'm Archie Luxury, and I hope you've enjoyed this clawback from Terry.
At Dunhill, our philosophy is simple. Every item that bears the name Dunhill must be useful, it must work dependably, it must last, it must be beautiful, it must be the best of its kind.